I'm not trying to crush anyone's fairy tales or fantasies, but the people you're exposed to over and over are much more likely to become part of your network and your life than the people you meet once or twice. That's why repeated exposure is so important. Hi ladies, welcome back to the Feminine Universe. I am so happy to have you here. So if I'm reading the room correctly, it seems like a lot of us are at a place where we're open to quality connections of different kinds, but we don't want to waste our time. We don't want to become part of another friend group where everyone gossips about each other. We're not interested in the situationships. We want depth, purpose, and alignment. If we're going to deal with the inconvenience and sometimes the discomfort of venturing outside, we want to be meeting quality people, hanging out in nice spaces, making beneficial connections, and not going broke while doing it. Am I right? So maybe you're tired of the clubs and bars every weekend. Maybe they never appealed to you in the first place. Or maybe they're just not putting you in touch with the kinds of people you want to be around at this stage in life. Maybe those brunches and dinners are adding up and feeling overpriced for what you're getting in return, and the crowd doesn't seem to be evolving. Whatever the reason, if you're ready to start expanding your network naturally, upgrading your circle, and building a social life that serves you instead of wasting your time and money, this video is probably a good place to start. So let's get started. Now, just so we're on the same page, this is not a networking 101 where we discuss every aspect of focused networking for specific purposes. This is more of a general approach that I call natural networking. It's a way of living your life that benefits you as an individual, but also makes it much more likely you'll meet new people and expand your network, okay? So coming in at tip number 1, the first thing I recommend is to pick a spot and become a regular. That means try to go there at least once a week. Your spot can be a coffee shop, library, restaurant, beer garden, whatever. You can decide to show up somewhere every Tuesday at 10 a.m. to get some work done, or do dinner somewhere Thursday nights at 8 p.m., or pop in somewhere for their weekly karaoke night or trivia night. Just pick whatever works best for your personality, your schedule, and your budget. A weekly dinner is going to cost more than grabbing a drink at a coffee shop or hotel bar while you get some work done. But whatever you choose, it will create a standing appointment with yourself that will force you to get dressed and get out in a somewhat social way at least once a week. And at least for that day, it will take away the guesswork of figuring out where to go. You'll have a home base outside, somewhere that's not your home, but where you will become very comfortable over time because you're going there on a regular basis. So you're becoming familiar with the environment and the people. You will build natural rapport and familiarity with the people who work there and with the other patrons who tend to come in around the same time as you. So remember to try to visit this place at the same day and time every week so you kind of start to see the same familiar faces. And unlike a networking event or a birthday party or other one-time event, there's no pressure to say or do anything the first time, the third time, or the fifth time you go. But at some point, it will naturally happen. Someone will eventually speak to you, or you will eventually speak to someone in a way that totally makes sense and that feels completely natural. The place you pick to make your spot should be within about 15 minutes, give or take, from your home or your job, because the closer it is to you, the less barriers there are and the more likely you are to stick with it. Tip number 2 is to get active. Find a way to get moving and incorporate fitness as part of your getting out there routine. You get a bit of a 2-for-1 with this one because you're bettering yourself by improving your health and fitness, but you're also giving yourself a chance to meet and connect with other people. And the beauty of this is you have a common activity to interact around. You're not just sitting across from each other at a table trying to fill the silence with conversation. It makes perfect sense to simply exchange a quick greeting or have a short conversation because ultimately you are there to do something, which is work out. So you can't spend all of the time chit-chatting. And getting active can look like getting a literal gym membership, or it could also mean a daily walk in the park closest to you or at the track closest to your home or your job. And that's another place you're also guaranteed to meet regulars who also come to the park to work out on certain days and times. Getting active not only improves your health and appearance, but also helps you become more disciplined, get better sleep, be more aware of and comfortable in your body, and boosts your confidence. And those are all things that will put you in a better headspace to socialize. Now, just before we get into tip number 3, I really want to drill down on something that we've seen here in the first 2 tips, and that is to understand the power of repeated exposure. There's a reason so many people are married to their high school or college sweethearts. There's a reason people befriend and marry people who live in their buildings or work at their jobs, no matter what HR seems to say about it. It's because the people you're exposed to over and over again are much more likely to become part of your network than people you meet once or twice. And I'm not trying to crush anyone's fairy tales or fantasies about bumping into an ideal person by chance one day. It absolutely happens from time to time. I'm just saying, do not sleep on repeated exposure and elevating the people and spaces you frequent regularly, because those connections are a lot more likely. Okay, now on to tip number 3, which is to pursue a niche hobby or interest. Now, the first 2 tips allowed you to set a wider net and to just start allowing yourself to cross paths with more people in general. But this tip is where you start to find folks who have similar interests and similar values. If you enjoy cooking, maybe you take a cooking class from a different cuisine than what you're familiar with. If you enjoy languages and you've been wanting to learn a language, maybe you take a language class that meets once or twice a week. Of course, those things usually come with some costs. So if you're looking to decrease costs or avoid them altogether, then we can turn to something like a book club. You can get that intellectual stimulation, meet other people who like reading, and there is usually not much cost associated with that. And you can join book clubs that focus on specific genres like fiction or mystery or self-help. There are women's only book clubs. There are mixed book clubs if you want exposure to some more intellectual men. On the flip side of book clubs, there are also writing clubs. So if you think some kind of writing is in your future, this could be a great place to sharpen your skills and get feedback. Maybe you'll be the next best-selling author. Maybe you'll befriend the next best-selling author who will invite you to their launch party and book signings. In a similar vein, if writing isn't your thing, you can also look for informational events or professional conferences to attend in industries that you're in or in industries that you're interested in. Now, aside from finding things in common, you can also find people who share your values. One way is through a church if you are spiritual or religious in any way. There are women's groups where women can get to know each other and become closer while sharing their faith and growing that way. There are singles groups. There are programs for families. Many churches also fellowship with other churches, which means not only do you get your home church community, you meet dozens, if not hundreds of people a year from other churches through fellowship and conferences. Volunteering is another gem for my do-gooders who may or may not be spiritual or religious. There are volunteering opportunities for just about every cause, from tackling hunger, to reading to children, to helping victims of DV, to cleaning up the environment and caring for animals. Literally anything under the sun, you can find it. And aside from doing good, a lot of volunteer programs also have participant events and charity events that can be a whole other avenue of socializing and networking. I went a little more in depth in this section to really highlight the fact that you can use this time to find people who are into what you're into. I know for a lot of people, as they go through their self-improvement journey, they outgrow certain things and they outgrow certain people, because everyone goes through their personal awakening at different times in life. And doing this allows you to find people who are where you are and who are interested in what you're interested in. And lastly, tip number 4 is to accept invitations and make connection extensions. Your favorite cousin, your best friend, and your favorite coworker all know people you don't know yet. And accepting invitations from your favorite people will unlock a whole new circle of people and opportunities you would have never known existed. Now, if you're anything like me from a few years ago, your first instinct when someone invites you anywhere is to try to find an excuse to get out of it. I get it, I really do. But accepting invitations is going to be one of the simplest, most beneficial shifts you can make. You don't have to find the events. You don't have to wonder who you're going to go with. This is not you inserting yourself into an event or into a friend group. This is you showing up to a space where you already know someone and you know they want you there with them. And the more you're willing to say yes and accept those invitations, the more people will want to keep inviting you to things, assuming you're behaving yourself and you're not embarrassing them or exhibiting unlikable behavior. I promise you, your network is so much larger than you think, because everyone you know knows at least one person you don't. I've experienced it firsthand. So accept those invitations and make those connection extensions. Your social life can be such a powerful tool if you take control of it. Like most good things in life, it's not just going to fall into your lap. It's going to take a little bit of work and a little bit of strategy, but it can truly pay off beyond your wildest dreams. Achieving that starts with being intentional about where you invest your energy and who you spend your time with. I've learned you can have fun and be productive at the same time. You can genuinely like someone and benefit from having them in your circle. Start with the steps in this video and watch the shift from no social life or a social life that drains you and your wallet to one that excites you, elevates you, and fuels your growth personally and socially. And now I know quite a few of us in this community lean a little bit introverted. So if you feel like that's what's been holding you back a little bit, write introvert assistance in the comments, and I'll be happy to give you some specific tips to navigate this growth era as an introvert, because I have definitely learned some things along the way that I would be happy to share. Until next time, ladies, stay feminine, stay focused, and have fun.